Hello friends and enemies, welcome to or back to Happy For Now. It's me, Isabel, here with my series check-in. Long overdue. I usually do this in February. Here we are, it's March. It's fine. It's because I set up a spreadsheet, which I stole from one of my friends, Steph over at Novelty Corner. She sent me her template. There is also a link to the YouTube tutorial down below if you want to make it. That's what she made it from. And I was just like, can I have it? And she was like, yeah, here you go. So instead of me building my own, I took someone else's and have populated it. So from that spreadsheet, I have some data. We have a lot to talk about, things I've finished in the last year since we last chatted, all that good jazz. But the data from the spreadsheet says that I have 35 series I'm currently reading, 313 books in series total, 198 of them I've read, and 115 to read. Goodness gracious. Okay, that's a lot. Seeing that number laid out was like, really? That many? That was how my brain felt, at least. I was like, no, I don't like that it's that many, but here we are. Yeah, okay, so I do think that does count abandoned series, so that number may be slightly off, actually, but I'll mess with that math later. I'm probably going to make a tab where I put, like, completed and abandoned series into that I don't, like, worry about the math on, but that's this year's starting math. I will tell you this, though, I finished 14 series so far. I have 18 completed series I'm working on and 35 total that I'm reading still, so we're gonna dive in and I'm gonna take you through from the series I finished to what I've abandoned, what I'm current with. I'm going to, for the most part, I think, put the first book in each series up instead of putting up all the books because that's just gonna be a lot. I will, as always, have links to everything down there for the whole series if you're curious, and I'll tell you if I'm putting the last book I read up instead. So for finished titles, we're going to start there, and that is going to be the first book in each series, so you can kind of get an idea, and I'll tell you what it is. First up, we have the Los Leones trilogy by Adriana Herrera. I finished this last year. The last book came out, A Tropical Rebel Gets a Duke or something like that. Anyways, I really love this series. I think if you are historical hesitant, this is a series that you will probably enjoy a lot because I think it tackles historical topics with a modern lens really nicely, but also offers a variety of options. You have a sapphic pairing in the middle of the series. You have a MF for the first two and the first and the last book pairing. And overall, I think this series was fun because it really discussed a lot of women's issues in the time, including the last one being her setting up a clinic for women to come to who are pregnant and need care. So that was really fun. I really loved it. Then I finished A Deal with a Demon by Katie Robert, that whole series. So this has, the first book is the dragon cover that is just one of my all-time favorite covers. I finally read all 6 books in this series and I liked it, but I do think the series on the whole at the end fell flat. I don't think that the last couple books were great personally, but I was happy to finish the series. I flew through them for the most part and found them really enjoyable. But like I said, I don't know, I felt like there was a slight detriment to me reading them as quickly together as I did, but I'm glad I finished it at the same time. This is a series that I think, if you're open to wanting to read some different demons and an interesting bargaining situation, it might work for you. But for me overall, it's not a series that I'm as in love with as I was at the beginning of reading the first book, the Dragon Bride book. So yeah. Then I also finished the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lila Sage. This finished last year and I read all 3 within the span of a couple months, I believe. I read the first 2 and then the third one came out and I picked it up. I really like this. I am a cowboy hesitant reader. First and foremost, you must know that I don't read a lot of cowboy romances. It's not my jam. It's not my preferred subgenre of contemporary or small town. And I liked it a lot. I thought this was actually really quite cute overall for a cowboy romance. This follows 3 siblings who grew up on Rebel Blue Ranch. Book 1 is Brother's Best Friend and the little sister. Book 2 is the other brother and an interior designer who comes from out of town. And book 3 is the little sister's best friend and one of her brothers, the oldest brother. And that was really fun. This has some heavier grief themes because our heroine, the family has lost the mother when they were younger. And stuff around it comes up. But I basically cried at the end of the last book. It was so good. And I honestly will read anything Lila Sage writes now. I was like, this is so good that I will read your books. There's just not a thing she's going to write that I don't think I wouldn't at least try. May not love it, but I will try. Okay, next is our Lola Glass section. Lola Glass is the queen of trilogies, okay? Constantly has trilogies going on and all that to write. And I love them. Okay, so I kind of, during my grief, went on a bit of a Lola Glass marathon in the last year because they're really readable and they're very quick. All of these, as a caveat, are paranormal, so just keep that in mind. But I read 3 series by her and finished them, and there'll be more later. They are all fated mates and very tropey books. I finished the Deceit and Devotion trilogy. These all follow 3 demon brothers who fall in love with various beings. This series I thought was really fun and silly. I really enjoyed it overall. It also takes place in the same town as some of the other books and has references to some of the other characters. So that was kind of fun. One of the characters' siblings in another series is in this series. So the other series is Mate Mountain, which are 3 dragon brothers who run the prison mountain situation. Again, fated mates. Book 1 is a little annoying, I will say, because our heroine and hero don't want to mate, but there's kind of no avoiding it, and it's them like attempting to avoid it and just a little silliness on that front. I would have rather them just like lean into it because like they're living together. This one though is the 3 dragon brothers. These were fun and a silly good time. I enjoyed them. Okay, like they're just, again, these are like very just tropey things. So I think sometimes they're just kind of fun to devour. Then in the same world as well, I think almost all of these are in the same world actually, almost. The Wildwood, which book 1 is The Art of Avoiding Your Werewolf. This follows a heroine who is a vampire werewolf hybrid, which is illegal. And he basically is the leader of a pack. And he's like, WTF is going on here? Why are you this hybrid? That is not allowed. And it's her and her friends getting saved basically by this werewolf pack to be in a better place. It's very cute, very fun. Again, every single one of these is like shifter or werewolf vampire. There's some sort of pairing like that. So I enjoyed these. I had a lot of fun. Next is a series I also devoured in like a weekend, and that is the Alliance series by S.J. Tilley. I read Nero and then I just blew through all 4 books. Literally in a weekend. I think I started on like a Thursday and I was done by Monday. Like, that's not quite a weekend, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I was just boom through these books and I had so much fun. This is a great mafia series. If you want, in Nero, listen, she is not the best heroine. Okay, she leaves her sliding door unlocked and is like, I'm so surprised someone can get in here. And I'm just like, girl, what are you doing? But they're all curvy heroines, which is fun. I really liked Hans, which is the last book, and they're neighbors in that one, and they end up on the run together. It's very silly. It's a very good time. Overall, I just think it's a fun series, and you know, maybe give it a go if you're curious, or if you want to try S.J. Tilley. This is the only thing I've read from her, and I just truly had a blast. It gave me exactly what I like out of mafia books, which is like ridiculousness, right? Like if I'm reading a mafia book, you have to up the ante and you have to make it kind of ridiculous. It can be serious and have dark moments, but I love the over-the-top ridiculous, like overprotective hero stuff with these, and also just like make me giggle, and that's exactly what these did. Also, these were funny because like the girls and some of them would like go run away and they'd be like, yeah, no, absolutely not. They'd be found with like not even 12 hours. I felt like it was just so silly and a good time. I also believe this one had secret glasses for Nero. I think it was Nero. Maybe it was King. It might have been King. But yeah, they're all like samey but different, and you just like have a blast watching them all fall in love. On a less silly note, we have The Vancouver Storm by Stephanie Archer, which I just finished. This series for me is one of my top hockey romance series, I think now. I love this series. I did not love Behind the Net. It is not my favorite trope because it is book 1 and it is a pop star romance situation, or budding pop star, rising pop star, whatever you want to call it. But Stephanie Archer's writing in this series for me has me curious enough to maybe try her like regular contemporaries. And that says a lot because it takes a lot for me to want to try a new author in that genre sometimes these days. But for me, this hockey series, I think the best part is like you had really great relationships throughout for not just the couples, but the girls as well, becoming friends and navigating it. Book 4 in particular was my favorite, but I also really loved book 5. So I felt like this series on a whole, for a 5-book series, nailed the ending. Like 4 and 5 were very strong endings in a way that I did not expect, and in a way that like left me so happy and with like just warm fuzzies over the whole entire series. So if you want a hockey romance that is pretty marathonable, this is definitely a good option. Then we have Her Vicious Beast by E.P. Bali. I finished this series this year as well. Finally, I still don't know how I feel about this Why Choose Paranormal Romance. I loved it. I think it's a great series. I'm still really glad I read all of it. But I also am a little frustrated at times that we didn't get more time with our final hero. I'm not going to tell you his name because each book kind of focuses on one relationship and an overarching plot. So like the ending sucked to wait, but it also wasn't the worst thing in the world because again, we were wrapping up most of a couple's relationship. But I felt like the book 5, we didn't get as much time with our hero as I would have liked. But I still really loved how everything wrapped up and what the world plot ended up turning into. So angsty though. Oh my god. Melodramatic and angsty. So if that's not your jam, this series will not be your jam. Then we have Naughty or Nice by Alta Hensley. This is a duology I read. I really enjoyed. This is a silly stalker romances set around the holidays. They're not very broadly going to tell you these are not going to work for everyone. They're over the top and ridiculous. First one, he's a firefighter who's stalking her. And the second one, he's super rich and he whisks her away to like Sweden or something, or Switzerland. I don't know. Somewhere in the mountains in Europe. And like romances her that way. And that was just, they're silly and over the top and they hit the spot perfectly when I read them. So I'm happy to be done. And then last but not least, I think the series is done. Questionable. I'm not sure. But The Librarians in Love duology by Gabriela Gamez. I've read both books in this. I liked them. I think book 1 is maybe my favorite more than book 2. Book 1 follows a heroine who's in love with her best friend, and the guy is in love with the fiance of the best friend, and it's his brother. So she like intercepts him from ruining it, and he's like a retired football player. This was cute for the most part. I think this whole series on a whole like was fun, but it doesn't like stand out to me now in retrospect, if that makes sense. Like in hindsight, it doesn't stand out a ton to me, but I had fun when I read them. So there's that. All right, let's talk about the book series I would like to finish in 2026. I'm going to show you the first book in the series. That may not be the last one I read, but we're going to talk about this. First of all, I gotta finish the Ruinous Love trilogy by Bren Weaver. I read book 1 and liked it. I know pretty mixed reviews on book 2 and 3, but I still would just like to finish the series. I own them. I need to just read them, you know? I've just not been in the mood for the darker stuff lately, but at the same time I am. So I think as soon as that mood hits again, I'm picking up the next one in the Bren Weaver series. Then we have the Curve series by Danielle Allen. I think it's only going to be a trilogy. I'm not positive, but I've read 2 out of 3 of these. I really love book 1 and 2. Curvy Girl Summer and the next one were fantastic reads. The third one comes out this summer. It's called Big Girl Blitz, and I do have an arc of it, so I will be reading it very soon. Then we have The Bond Dissolution Omegaverse by Alana Lee. I've read 1 out of 3 in this series, and I would like to continue. I have part 2 checked out right now on Hoopla, and I may listen to it soon, but there's also a third book. So I think this series for me, like I liked how dark the beginning of book 1 was, and then it turned really light and fluffy. So that felt like a nice balance personally for my brain. And I really have enjoyed her writing in another series we're about to talk about. So I just would like to actually read all of her Omega verses. Then we have the Cozy Verse series, which is by Alana Lee and Amelia Emerson. I've read 3 out of 4. The 5th title comes out this summer, which is A Pack for Summer. I just read A Pack for Spring as an arc. I've requested A Pack for Summer as an arc as well. I'm hoping I get it. And yeah, I'm excited to finish the series. This is a very cozy little magical town where the cat is the mayor, basically. And I've just really enjoyed all of them for the most part. I've had my qualms and issues. I've had issues with a couple things in them, but for the most part, I've finished each one in like 24 hours without really trying. So there's that. Next, we have The Shifter City Fated Omega by Jamin Eve. I've read 3 out of 4 of these titles. The final book just came out this year in January. So I would like to dive in. I was reading E.P. Bali's book when this came out, so I haven't dove in yet. So I will be very soon. Then we have the Friendship in Rhode Island series by Kate Canterbury. I've read In a Jam, loved In a Jam. In a Jam is a top tier favorite contemporary romance. I have In a Rush and I have In a Second. I need to just read them. So I'm really hoping to read them this year, at least book 2, at least In a Rush. If I don't also get to In a Second, that'll be okay, but I'm holding out hope. I know there's going to be more in this series, but I'm considering it like finished until she announces the next one. Dark Olympus by Katie Robert. It ends this year in 2026, and I have been keeping up for the most part. I'm currently on Sweet Obsession, and there's going to be 10 books. Shattered Gods comes out this summer, and I would like to get caught up so that when Shattered Gods comes out, I'm just done with the series. I'm really obsessed with the idea of like finishing series that end of this year, which is like not a difficult concept, but I'm just someone who is so bad at picking up my series. And then last but not least, for series I want to finish The East Side Brewery by Mia Hopkins. So I might have to reread Thirsty and Trash to then read Tanked. I'm just really, really struggling to say goodbye to this series, and I have been for a long time. They hold like such a place in my heart from 2020 and stuff, so there's that. I will eventually. It's fine. I'll do it. Next, we are going to talk about the books I'm current with right now and the last one I read in the series. First of all, we're going to talk about two of my favorite hockey series. So first of all, we have Off the Ice by Balcabra. So I read book 3, which is Revolve. Embrace comes out this fall, or in August. I really liked book 3. I've liked every single book in this series, so I'm really excited to read book 4. The other hockey series I love that is college age is the Undone series. So I've read books 2 and 3, or I've read books 1 and 2 in this, and then I have Unbound to read, and that comes out in April. I have an arc of this, and then book 4 comes out this fall. So we're coming in close on the end, is the good news of a series, but I'm also like, I think it's going to be the end of the series at least. We'll see. But I'm currently current with both of those because the books aren't out yet, even if I have arcs, so that's nice. Next, we have Beast of the Briar by Elizabeth Helen. So I'm technically not current because I do have a novella to read, but I'm reading that novella in the beginning of April. But the next book comes out in April as well at the end of the month. So I'm currently through book 5, and there's going to be 8 total full-length books. And the series is ending in 2026, which is kind of wild to me. But I'm excited. I'm hoping Shay and I and our buddy read, we finish it up by December, honestly. And I think we will. I don't see a world where we're not both like dying to just finish the series. Then I have The Breach Wars by Ilona Andrews. We only have one book. I read that book. I'm current. I'm waiting. I'm in the waiting time. Next we have Feral Love by Ali Oleander. I loved Willing Prey, which came out last year, beginning of the month. I don't know. Anyways, I loved this book. It was fantastic. Pray for Me is coming September 22nd, 2026. So I will be picking that up and continuing this series. The next series I'm current with is The Blossomverse by Emily Antoinette and Allegra Hall. So I'm current with this. Emily's doesn't have anything on the schedule that I saw yet in The Blossomverse, and Allegra's book is on hold right now, so I'm just waiting, happily. Then we have Hidden Legacy by Ilona Andrews. I read 6.5 out of 6.5 books because Beast Business came out and I read it and we had a live show, and now I just am current. We're calling it because who knows, maybe they'll surprise us and we're going to get another novella with our couple from Beast Business, because that would be great. I would love that. But then we have The Morelli Family by Kath Richards. I love this series. We're getting a 3rd book at some point in this series, but I've read the last 2, so I'm currently just waiting until we get a new one. Then we have Survival of the Mates by Lola Glass. I've read 2 out of 3 of these. Now, book 3 is available, but I'm waiting for the audio, which comes out at the end of March, so I will be reading that as soon as it comes out. This is a Bachelorette survival fae story, so that's been fun. The other thing I'm current with is Dorothy Gentleman by Olivia Waite. I got an arc of this, so I finished it early. These are cozy sci-fi mysteries. Okay, another series I'm current with is The Time of Iron by Sarah Reese Brennan. Book 1 is Long Live Evil. And book 2 comes out May 12th, so I will be reading that pretty soon after it comes out. I'm excited. Time of Iron is a portal romance or portal fantasy situation. Basically, our heroine is dying of cancer, ends up in another world. It is wild. The end of that book just changes your mind about everything you've already read, which is fascinating, and I'm just really, really excited for the next one. Then I've read Wayward Children, another portal fantasy by Shauna McGuire. These come out about every January. I'm 11 for 11 in this series, and we'll see what happens in the next one. I feel like we're wrapping up. I feel like we've got to be nearing the end, but maybe I'm wrong. But I keep feeling like we're nearing the end, and this one really made me feel like, okay, we only have a couple more books, probably. But I don't know. Maybe Shauna McGuire also just has endless ideas. Next, we have the Lights Out series by Simone Saltani. This has 3 books, and I've read the first 2. Book 3 comes out November 10th. It's called Crash Into You, and I'm very excited for it. Then we also have, last but not least, the Shatter Me New Republic series by Tara Maffei. I read the whole Shatter Me series like last year or the year before in 2024, I think. So I read the new one when it came out, and now I'm waiting until April 7th when I can read the second book in this series because I'm really curious. Okay, so now we're going to read the series I have that are ongoing that I'm reading. I'm going to put the last book read up here, depending on where we're at. So First, we have The Memphis Kings by Alexandria House. I listened to book 1 on audio and was waiting for book 2 to come out on audio, which it has now, so I'll be reading it soon, which is Memphis. This is a kind of twisty, suspensey black romance, if you're interested in something like that. I really loved book 1. Then we have The Hunted Omegas by April Moon. This is just Alpha and Omega, not Omegaverse. Please note this is just like Wolf Shifter Alpha and Omega. But I've read 4 out of 6 on these. I'm on Fated to the Scarred Wolf, which I have on audio and will likely be reading sooner than later, probably during Love in the Night. Book 6 doesn't come out until April 16th, so I'm not in too big a rush to be caught up and finished. I'm assuming. I think that's going to be the last book. We're really, really wrapping up the world plot here, which is following the fact that Omegas are outlawed and not allowed, or not supposed to exist. Like, basically, if an Omega's born, they're murdered. And that's a really wild setup, okay, first of all. But second of all, it's been really interesting to read so far. So I'm really excited to continue and see how it wraps up. They're very readable, so if you want a fun Alpha and Omega, not Omegaverse, shifter story, I do think this series is worth the hype. Next, we have King of Sins by Anna Wong. I've read 4 out of 6 of these, and 4 out of 6, or are we at 7? I guess we're gonna have 7 because there's 7 deadly sins. Anyways, I am on King of Envy right now. These are contemporary romances themed around the 7 deadly sins. I'm on book 5, so there's that. And then King of Gluttony is out on the 28th of April. So I would like to read King of Envy maybe this month, maybe next month. We'll see. I just have not had the urge to pick up a Anna Wong in a minute, and I have literally it sitting on my shelf. So I need to do that. I need to actually read these books. So maybe sooner than later. But yeah, I'm on King of Envy. I don't have any big thoughts. I think the Twisted series is still my favorite of hers, but I've liked some of these a lot in the King of Sin series. Next, we have Playing for Keeps by Becca Mack. I just read book 1 last month, and I was blown away by how much I liked this. These are hockey romances that are very angsty. This one has a Playboy hero who's proving to her that he is willing to give up his Playboy ways for her. And that was really fun. I do own, I think, a lot of this series as audiobooks, and all of them are in KU. So it would be really easy for me to probably get current sooner than later and like finish the whole series. So don't be surprised if next year I'm done with it. But so far I really liked it, and I'm really excited for book 2 because I really liked who it was going to be, and I cannot remember who it was. But yeah, there's a lot of like him disproving his Playboy ways and doing so pretty successfully, I would say, in this one, and I enjoyed that. Next, we have The 5 Packs by Kate C. Wells. This is a series I've been like slowly reading. Like every Love of the Night round I read like one of these. So I've read 2 out of the 7 right now. I'm on Lone Wolf's Rejected Mate. Every single one of these are Rejected Mate books. So knowing that, that's part of what's taking me so long to read them, because I love them, but I cannot necessarily read like a bajillion Rejected Mates back to back to back to back. So there's that. Next, we have a cozy fantasy called The House Witch by Demmelhawk. I don't think I said that right, but I read book 1. I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to pick up book 2 at some point. I'm also excited because a lot of these audios have left Audible exclusivity, which intrigues me into picking them up more, to be honest with you. So probably gonna happen sooner than later, because I really, really liked book 1. Like, it was just kind of a nice chill time. I could see myself reading it soonish maybe. This does follow a house witch in like a fantasy setting. Then we have The Boundlands by Elsie Winter. I've read 1 out of 3 of these. I have Magpies and Mayhem on my Kindle. Like, I own it, so I do need to read it and read more of the series, honestly. So I'm hoping to do that. These are a fun urban fantasy kind of paranormal world situation with like college age-ish characters. Book 3 is the Grim Reaper character, so I really would like to finish the series so I can read him, because that's like one of my faves. Then we have Finley Donovan by El Casamino. This is a silly thriller situation. This features a heroine who writes thriller books and ends up as a hired assassin. I've read 4 out of 6 of these, and honestly, I think I might abandon the series. I've really been debating it the last few rounds, and I keep tossing back and forth if I want to continue and like finish, because I do have an arc for Finley Donovan Digs Her Own Grave, and I cannot decide if I should just say screw it and DNF those, or if I should read them and then be done with the series. If y'all have thoughts or opinions, let me know down below. I really keep debating it. Then we have The Jacksonville Rays by Emily Rath. Of the books, there's 4 out right now, and I've read 3. I have not read the newest book because it does have dementia in it, and I've just not been in a place for it yet. I may read it this summer when the sun's like fully out and it's like warm and feels like the right time to have maybe get through it. So that is on my list to try soon. Then we have the Souls trilogy by Harley LaRue. I've read 1 out of 3 of these. I've been waiting. I read the first one and now I've been waiting, and they finally have left it. For a long time, the audiobooks were Audible exclusive. So I was waiting for those to leave so I could read them. Like I could audiobook them, which is exactly what I did. This series is goth bimbos solving a crime, okay, with demons. Like that's exactly what it is, at least book 1. I had fun. I would like to listen to book 2 and see what I think of the series. And I know it follows the same timeline. It's the same old here for Kate Daniels with Ilona Andrews. I read 5 out of 10. I want to go back and do a full reread. It'll probably be a dedicated vlog at some point. I've just not been in the mood to like marathon a series like this yet. So soon, maybe this summer. Next we have Tooth and Claw by Heather Greer. I've read 1 out of 3 of these. This is a shifter rural Alaska romance situation. This was really interesting, or she'd been marked by someone. Something was happening, like her life was going awry. She didn't know why. She ran off to this remote town in Alaska, and lo and behold, there's a secret, and the secret is that they're shifters. I really liked this. There's like a book 4 that's been like on forever hold, so I'm considering this a trilogy and done when I get there, so we'll see. Next we have Vera Wong by Jessie Q. Sutanto. I love this series, and this is part of why I'm thinking to drop Finley, is that I think the series fulfills the itch for me better, and this is a older woman helping solve mysteries, and they're so silly and fun that I really just think it would be great to read this series instead and get current and just kind of read a few more of them and maybe abandon them. I don't know. Then we have Claws and Cubicles by Kate Pryor. I read The Orc from The Office recently and then realized I have one more in this series, which I didn't realize had grown to a trilogy at this point. So I was like, oh, I should probably just finish it, but we'll see what happens. Next we have The Family by Katrina Jackson, which I read 2 out of 5 of. I think I'm going to only read the book that finishes up couple 1's story and then DNF the rest of the series. I don't know if I care enough to read the rest. I've liked what I read, but I'm not like obsessed with it. So this is a mafia romance set in Italy and with black heroines who keep taking trips and meeting these men, and it's been really fascinating. Really, really liked book 2 though. Then we have Immortals After Dark by Cressley Cole, one of my top tier paranormal romance series, and y'all are gonna be surprised but not, I still have the newest release sitting because there's 19 books in this series. I'm just not ready to say goodbye to the series for now because she has a new series coming out. It's a whole thing, and I just don't know that we're ever gonna finish Immortals After Dark, and I'm working on making myself okay with the fact that the series is just gonna be open-ended for the rest of my life. So there's that, but I do love this series immensely. It's so good. Next I have Murderbot by Martha Wells. I'm halfway through this. I've read 4 out of the 8 titles, and I'd like to continue this year just kind of working my way through the series again. I definitely, when I do a Dice of Destiny again, could see myself easily picking up 1 or 2 of these during that for a continuous series. Next we have The Psy Trinity by Nalani Singh. I hear some of you in the comments yelling at me already. I know, I've read 1. And then I blinked and we have 9 books. What? I've read 1. So yeah, I need to continue the series. This is the spin-off continuation from Psy Changeling, which there are dedicated reading blogs on my channel of me reading, but I need to actually read this series. Probably sooner than later. Next we have Necessary Evils by Onley James. One I own like every single book on audio, and somehow I'm only 3 out of 7 books through this series, so I do need to finish them. These are dark romance that are very short. They're very quick reads, following all of these brothers. They're not like blood brothers necessarily. They're just like an adopted family of brothers who are all serial killers. Basically, these are bonkers banana pants. Exactly what I love in a romance like that. Then we have The Dustwalker Brides by Opal Rain. I've read 1 out of 9 of these. How are there 9? I feel like I blinked. The audios have finally started hitting Hoopla. So I'm going to try book 2 again, which I kind of soft DNF'd, and see what I think of the series and then make a decision if I'm going to continue or skip book 2 and continue. I don't know what I want to do. I really like these. They're just really beefy. Loved book 1 though. These follow these skeletal weird monster dudes and these heroines who are basically sacrificed to them because they're believed to like protect the village to some extent, at least in book 1. And it's really fun, and it's them also, I think there's an overarching plot line here that's about to happen. Next we have a new to me Omegaverse series, which is called Pack Companions by Roxy Collins. I read book 1 recently, loved it. Absolutely loved book 1. There are 3 books in the series. Book 1 follows a beta and an omega who fall in love and basically end up together in a pack. And it was so fun. It was so different. I really, really want to read the rest of the series, but I can't check out anything new from KU still. So until that happens, the series is chillin'. Next, we have Firebird Chronicles by T.A. White. I missed the live show due to life commitments. There's 6 books in this series. This is a really fun sci-fi series that reads a lot like Ilona Andrews' books. Very readable, very enjoyable. I'm kind of holding out for the audiobook now since I haven't read book 6, but I also really want to read book 6. I don't know. I'm really torn on what I want to do, but I will be current with the whole series once I read book 6. Next, we have The Seattle Serpents by Tegan Hunter. Tegan wrote one of my favorite hockey contemporaries romance series, which is the Carolina Comets. I love that series so much, and this is the spinoff, Seattle Serpents. There's 5 books out currently. I've not read the newest release, and I need to, but I also am like not in a huge rush to read it because like I don't know when we're getting more or if that's the last one, but it's kind of just hanging there for me when I'm ready. Then we have The Brides of Kylor by Zoe Draven. This is a trilogy so far of vampire aliens. And I really liked book 1 when I read it, and I do have book 2 checked out, so hopefully soon I will dive in and enjoy more of this really interesting world, because I do think the vampire alien mashup is a really fun thing, and Zoe Draven is just like very, very, very readable. Next, we have The Royal Artifact Guild by Ruby Dixon. I've read 1 out of 2. I'm on book 2 now, which is... So I need to read By the Horns still, and I'm really excited for it. I love the series. This is kind of a fantasy setting with minotaurs and heroines who are trying to join this Royal Artifact Guild, and it is a good time all around. Last but not least, we have the Maid Hunted by Lola Glass series. There are 6 books in this series, and I've read the first 2. I cannot read more because the KU checkout thing, and I probably would have finished the series already if I could, but these are really fun. The first book is The Bookish Girl's Guide to Mating a Werewolf, and she literally finishes a werewolf romance and goes to this town that supposedly has werewolves and meets her mate, and it is chaos. And then at the end of book 2, book 3 is like completely set up, and I'm really, really excited for more to happen there. These are very fun. These are men who have been rejected previously finding their new mates, and that has been such a fun and interesting setup. Okay, now we gotta talk about the 2 series I'm abandoning, confirmed-ish, okay? First of all, we have the Pucking Wrong series by C.R. Jane. That book 1 was so bad. It was so bad. Like, I was just cackling my way through it. And I've said, and I will say this as I say I'm abandoning it, I may pick up another one in the series for the giggles. Like, if I'm just in a place where I need a book that's going to make me laugh my butt off over how ridiculous it is, this is the book I'm picking up. Like, I will pick up book 2 in this series. But these are just over-the-top ridiculous dark romances where they're hockey players and athletes, and it's just... There's something is what I'll tell you right now, okay? Like, they are ridiculous. So I'm curious enough that I would like to read, I would pick up more, but I also am going to say to you that I'm not tracking it as a series I'm reading. It's being counted as abandoned. Any more I read does not matter. Then we have Psycho Shifters by Jasmine Moss. I enjoyed book 1 in this. I thought it was a kind of interesting and different setup for a world. But this author ended up on my no thank you list because of some bad behavior around reposting people's reviews and people defending her books that other people didn't like. And reviews are for readers, and there's one way to lose me as a reader, and it's anytime authors do that. But this series is a shifter romance where she has 365 shifter roommates, and she is of course supposed to be less than and all these things, and she's just here to prove them wrong. It's like a darker paranormal. It was a fun book 1, and I was willing to read more, and then all of that happened. I think that in particular was around her Blood of Hercules series, so I just was like, I'm only 1 book in, we'll stop here. So that's exactly what I did. I would love to know what series you're hoping to finish in 2026. I don't know if I'll be successful with my list or not. I may put this list up and never think of it again. So there's that. But yeah, let me know down below what you're thinking of trying to finish in 2026 or anything you're really excited that's ending this year. If you don't want to do any of that, you can leave me a sunshine emoji because you'll be watching this as I've just come back from sun. A lot of sun, and I'm very excited about it. So you can leave that down below. I'll have links to all these books series for you down there. Links to my friend anywhere on the internet that I am. And I will talk to y'all in just a few days in my next video. Bye!
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see what we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away. This is what we waited